GM, GA, GE, wherever you may be. Today, we have LinksDAO. We're going to be talking about what they are doing in the golf community and bringing country clubs to Web 3.0. Welcome. So today we have on Coop NFT, and Jim Daly from the LinksDAO team. How's it going today, guys? Could you just quickly give a little bit about who you are as part of the LinksDAO team? We'll go with you first, Coop.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us. My name's Cooper. I am head of community at LinksDAO, and yeah, it's been an awesome experience so far.
What's up, guys? I'm Jim Daly. So I'm founder and CEO of LinksDAO.
Cool. So first, let's get into a little of like what LinksDAO is. I think people have seen it on their Twitter feeds or just heard from word of mouth. I know it's somewhat of a unique project compared to some other DAOs that people have seen and just NFTs in general. So just as like a quick high level overview, like what is LinksDAO?
Totally. And Blue Dog, I'll take that one. So I'm gonna explain it in two separate paths. So I think there's one that is kind of like the philosophy and the community aspect, which are, in our view, the most important points of what LinksDAO is. And then another one that's kind of like things that we've kind of put in place that have changed the way that NFTs can be utilized and seen, and kind of evolved NFTs into this entirely new thing. So, like at its heart, LinksDAO is a community of folks that's coming together to change the game of golf for the better, make it more accessible, more inclusive, more kind of democratic, egalitarian, kind of shake things up for a sport that has historically been like kind of like an old boys exclusive, extremely expensive club. And we're basically doing this by building what's going to be kind of the new era and best golf and leisure club and brand that exists in the golf space. We're going out, we're buying one of the top golf courses in the world. We're going to work with the top designer, redesign it, and like fundamentally change the country club experience for all of our NFT holders. And that kind of like leads to that second track, which is something that I've been really interested in. I know Coop has been interested in. My co-founder Dudis has been really interested in, is kind of like new applications for NFTs. And this project is one that we founded on the concept of bringing a lot of in real life utility to NFT ownership and utilizing blockchain technologies for basically proof of membership, token gating, e-commerce sites, basically allowing our members to have incredible benefits across a lot of different golf companies just as a byproduct of owning the NFT, and then ultimately being able to be a member at the golf club when we open it up and kind of again start to change the world of golf. So that's kind of what the LinksDAO project is at a high level.
Yeah, and I think that's something that people have been asking for and feel like a lot of NFTs right now are these PFP projects, but people want the utility, real world use cases. And I think this is one of those main ones. Like membership is the big thing that I explain to people in real life. I try not to explain to them the PFP craze. And using, as you mentioned, the token gated pro shop. Like that's something that's pretty useful for a members only kind of benefit. So I guess Coop, how do you come into play as far as like what are you doing as part of LinksDAO team?
Yeah, thanks. As Jim described, there's a really interesting dynamic here with how does membership work in the Web3 metaverse digital world. So what that boils down to philosophically is community, right? Being able to connect with people who are interested in the same hobbies, same sports, same anything, around the world, and being able to connect online with other people who have those same interests and share ideas and work together even on creating cool projects. I think that is something that we're seeing explode across the NFT world and Web3 right now. And so my role within LinksDAO is orchestrating and developing that community product, right? What is the experience like as a member of the community, as an NFT holder, as a member of LinksDAO, and what can we do to make that experience even better on the pathway towards golf course ownership. And then eventually, what does online Web3 membership in that golf community look like once we have a course, multiple courses down the road, and that future of the metaverse that we've heard so much about.
Yeah. And so as far as, there's already been the launch of NFTs, and that's been basically the initial like fundraising, I guess you could say, as far as to actually go in and buy a golf course. So what's sort of involved as far as I want to say buying the golf course and then managing it once this group of people who are the holders are actually owning it?
So yeah, so buying golf course, redesigning golf course, designing the right membership experience, the right on-premises experiences, amenities, and managing it on a day-to-day basis is like no small feat. I think what's interesting about the world of like DAOs is there's a lot of people that are kind of tweeting out, we're going to build a DAO and we're going to buy this thing, right? And theoretically, that's amazing, and I love it, and it's just super awesome in terms of like the power of a community to do something with a collective vision and goal. But then when you get down to it, there's actually quite a lot to do to execute well, right? So over the last, so we launched the project, the ideation of the project, like literally the day that Mike and I were like, oh, this is a cool idea. It was December 15th. Mike, he's got a great social following, tweeted out this concept of, buying a top 100 course and LinksDAO. From that moment to now, obviously, we're still in, we're at the end of March. It's basically like 3 months. So, we dropped the NFTs 2 weeks after ideation. They sold out. We generated about 11.4, million in revenue from that. And then the next few months, kind of what's led us up to this point, we've been focused on, and I'm getting very specifically to your question, Lou. So we've been focused on partnerships. So working with the world's best golf companies to bring benefits to our NFT holders. We've been focused on in real life events. So, we did an event with 150 people down in Austin, 150 of our members down in Austin a few weeks ago, launching the Pro Shop, which we did over just a little over a week ago, developing some really cool content and really building the infrastructure for the community to be able to make their voices heard, right? And Coop can talk more about that. The golf course, in terms of purchasing it, over the last few months, we've been information gathering, right? So like looking at perspectives of over 20 different golf courses and kind of like what their revenue models are, both private and public and more resort destination style courses. We've talked to about 16 different golf course architects now, like, kind of the who's who of the golf world, the Coors and Crenshaws and the David McKay kids and, and the Nicholas Company and things like that. And also talking to consultants in the golf world and also management companies to figure out who we're going to partner with to go execute on the purchase of the actual, asset itself, who's going to be redesigning it, and when we can really get this thing online. So right now, where we are with buying the golf courses, we're down to 2 finalists as our core partners to finding the property, and then helping us with the redesign and then managing it, because we're not going to manage the golf course ourselves. We're going to use a third party for that. Although we will obviously own it, and our DAO community is going to shape what this thing is, but just the day-to-day operations, we're going to have a third party manage it, and then we're going to go execute. So kind of as we get into the late spring, early summer, and then into the fall, that's when we're going to purchase the asset and start with the redesign.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, like this isn't something that you can just do overnight either. So it's going to take time to get all of this settled, and as you mentioned, like working with partnerships and stuff like that. So are you working with like anyone from the tour, like the PGA Tour itself? Are you on your plans going to have anything tied to PGA events or maybe even smaller tours? Because I know there's tons of tours out there in golf. Are you trying to focus on a specific one, or is any of that information, are you allowed to talk about?
Yeah, totally. I mean, we're actively engaged across multiple tours. So the European tour, we've had a lot of conversations with those guys. Like, they're pretty innovative in like the way that they approach their business. The PGA tour, what's been cool is to see how many of the like PGA tour players know about this project. Like basically take any of the top guys that you have in your mind in golf, and the majority of them have heard about this project, and we've spoken with a good number of them. I'm not mentioning them by name because obviously we have like a really good strategy for player relationships and kind of our development and relationships with them and get them involved in the project. But I think there's a lot of really good enthusiasm across the PGA Tour in terms of their player ranks about what we're trying to do. And then we really want to lean in with the LPGA Tour as well. I mean, it's just like there's such incredible talent, and I think just an amazing greenfield opportunity to partner with the LPGA in a pretty big way. Because ultimately, like, what we want to do is we want to be hosting LPGA Tour events. We want to be hosting PGA Tour events. We want to be hosting PGA of America events, and bringing, helping again to change the game and evolve the game in whatever small way we can, and just make an impact.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know the PGA has been pretty, I don't know the correct word, but I know that they are, they're not boomers, I guess, in that way, where they've had partnerships with like DraftKings, and they understand that a lot of ways to get people involved in the game are to connect to like current hip things. So that's where I think they'd be more open than some of these other leagues like the MLB or something like that, where they understand people like to bet on golf. So now you see when you're watching some of these telecasts, you see like what the different odds are for players and throughout different parts of the actual week in that tournament. So I feel like the PGA is a little more progressive. I think that's the word I was thinking of, as far as things like that go. So now let's get into, I know you had mentioned that you have to hop off of here in a little bit. So I want to try to get as much while we're talking with you, Jim. But I want our listeners to understand ways that they can get involved, because there's already been 9,000 of these NFTs that have dropped. There's a couple different versions of them, the global and the leisure. So could we just get into a little about how someone could get involved?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, our main priority is developing, the ultimate experience for our NFT holders, right? And that is obviously the partnerships and digital experience, which in early days, like, we made a ton of progress on, which has been just really, I think it's happened a lot faster than even we were anticipating at the beginning of this project. And then ultimately, again, building out the best physical and metaverse experiences for them. So, you can go and buy the NFT on the secondary. It's not something we promote. We actually love the fact that our NFT holders, our members, don't really trade at a high rate. Like, our hold rate is pretty extraordinary when it comes to NFT projects. That's the way we want to keep it, because we want people who are interested in building something cool and different and unique, and what will be, hopefully, again, knock on wood, historically important in the game of golf in the NFT space. We love those people to hold the NFTs. You can, however, if you want, go on to a secondary site and buy one. So that's a low-hanging fruit of how you can get involved. And then the other way is, like, we have 5,300 NFT holders, but we have well over 15,000 people in our Discord, a very active community. We have over 30,000 followers on Twitter. And, there's a lot of things that our Discord community is a good example does to, and Coop is like the ultimate expert on this. He's like the best community guy in the game. So really, I would, I still have another 10 minutes or so, but I would really drill Coop on how to build a successful community in Web3, because there's nobody better at it. But basically, there's incredible things that are coming from the community of even non-NFT holders. Like, when we did our first in-person event, the one that had 150 members down in South by Southwest. It was primarily organized by a guy that was not an NFT holder that just loved the project so much. He was an events guy, and he ran point on organizing the whole thing for the community. So being part of the Discord is like a really easy way to get involved with LinksDAO.
Yeah. And I don't want to, I feel like sometimes I'll ask questions that makes it seem like I'm trying to get alpha directly out of you, but it's more like me thinking in real time. But I feel like it would be really cool where it's difficult to get a master's ticket right now, but it'd be pretty cool if there could be like kind of like a pack, one of those pack breaks where people put in money into, say, a DAO, and you put in the potential to get some of these tickets, and then people in the community are able to, within a raffle, get one of the tickets. So there's just so many things you can do, and with Masters just coming up soon, it's like fresh in my mind. But there's probably a lot of ways that you can have people involved, because I think, Coop, you had mentioned there's around 15,000 people in your Discord right now, and there's only 9,000 of these NFTs. So there's always different ways to split it all up. So could you explain the difference between the leisure and the global NFT?
Yeah. Go ahead, Jim.
No, go for it, bud. Take this one.
Yeah. So, yeah, like you said, we have 15,000 people in the Discord, but only 9,000 NFTs on the market, and awesome that so many are being held by their original minters, right? But there's lots of people who enjoy the game, enjoy the project, just want to participate in this online community of, golf enthusiasts and people who enjoy Web3 and are interested in the project, who actively, talk and communicate about ideas about golf in general. The breakdown right now with global versus leisure is 63 leisure, and the balance is 30 to 32, approximately like 6,000 and 3,000 between the two NFTs. These Genesis NFTs, as they're called, globals will reserve the right to access 2 individual memberships or 1 family membership at the eventual course that LinksDAO acquires, whereas a leisure NFT will allow you for 1 individual membership at the course. Additionally, these are the governance tokens for NFTs for LinksDAO right now. So the NFTs are your vote. 1 global token is equivalent to 4 votes, and 1 leisure is 1 vote. So it's a 4-to-1 ratio in that way. Additionally, when we talk to our partners, that when we bring benefits to the community, or we figure things out that add value to the membership, we try to give early access to certain things, like we saw with our recent pro shop, or additional benefits, like at 5-Iron Golf or Ship Sticks. Globals get increased discounts, early access, etc. So being a global holder is really, if you really want to have that premier experience and get to the benefits that LinksDAO provides first, that's the spot to be. But the leisure holders also awesome part of the community, and really cool benefits on that side as well.
Yeah, and I think that's a thing that people look at right away, and just need to know sort of that the difference between the two. I think Steph Curry made some noise when he bought into the project, I remember, and so it's cool to see, like, when these, because golf is a game that a lot of athletes, and especially athletes, have been getting into NFTs a lot more recently. It's definitely a game that you see a lot of them at. For things like the Pro-Am and things like that, and just in general. But one thing that I wanted to ask on this was, now that you have these votes in the DAO, is there any sort of revenue share as part of being a holder, or is that separate?
Yeah, that's separate. So the way the NFT is structured is basically, it's like your membership pass to kind of the best community and best perks and partnerships in golf. But there's not a specific ownership stake in the business. No.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure on that side. So then the beauty of NFTs is it's global, right? So if this is this going to be just one golf course in one location, or is it a group? Yeah, you're shaking your head no. It sounds like it's a group.
Yeah, I mean, we want to have this as like the world's best global network of golf courses, clubs, and experiences. That's what we're shooting for. Well, obviously, you start with one club, as you do. But we want a club. We want a club in South Carolina and New York and Miami and Wisconsin and Texas and, you know, Southern California and Northern California and Oregon and Dubai, in Scotland, in Japan. I mean, like, we want really for this to be the preeminent golf community, and one that kind of like writes the playbook for, you know, what a golf community can be. And the great thing about blockchain and Web3 is, like, you can do that and you can scale that, right? Like, if you were just to kind of in more of like a, you know, Web2 or more like a classic way, try to create a global golf network, it's extremely hard to do. But because we're so interconnected and within our contracts we can have governance rights from anybody in the world, like, we can really scale this thing. So I think we're excited to make it, you know, again, like a very global experience.
And, you know, just in general, Web3 allows that a lot easier. Just the reach that you have for it, and a lot of the players, as you mentioned, like, they come from all over the world and play all over the world. If you have connections to the Euro Tour, like, that's going to have a whole different network of user in that side of it. So, what other sort of future plans do you have that you want to share before you headed out?
So yeah, I think we're excited that we're kind of on the cusp right now of announcing a very significant partnership, which we're not going to get into it all here because there's, you know, I think we,
Yeah.
you know, next time we're on and we're chatting, we can get more into the details because it will have been announced. So I think there's going to be some killer benefits coming from, you know, the golf community to our community pretty soon. You know, you know, I'm very enthusiastic again about how kind of traditional golf world has really embraced this project. Like, you know, I'm going down to the Masters next week for, you know, Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm not going to see one lick of golf or walk the golf course because we're just wall to wall with meetings,
Yeah.
with player reps, you know, with kind of the big management companies, like with the big, you know, golf companies in the ecosystem with like equipment and apparel and things like that. And I'm really excited about kind of that. Takes a little time. Obviously, you have to build trust in a, you know, in a new community like the golf community, but I think we're doing an amazing job of making progress there. And I'm just excited also about, like, a lot of the things that Coop has been working on with his team. He has like 50 moderators that kind of run the Discord that, you know, he's like the, again, like I said, like the ultimate community guy. What he's building in terms of, you know, giving communication to the community, you know, making it easy to collaborate within the community and making it easy to make an impact within our community, I think is super cool. Like, not only for our project, but I feel like we're, you know, we're trying to become the North Star for how that could be done with a DAO infrastructure, like in the entire ecosystem. So I definitely would suggest, if you are interested in DAOs and communities, like, pick Coop's brain as soon as I hop off, because like I said, there's nobody better than him.
Yeah, and
Thanks,
we'll
Jim.
be sure to add the Discord in the notes below as part of the video. And I know that as far as like DAOs go, a lot of people are somewhat unsure going in, like they don't know what it is. It's kind of a new, just in general, idea over the past year or so. But I think once you get in there, you kind of get the idea of community driven projects. And as you mentioned before, like the being the first at things is really big in NFTs, it seems. And if you're the first that's a golf to be able to buy a golf course, then that's pretty big as well. So yeah, I think as far as like the community goes, like have you seen a big, outside of that event that you had, like have you seen a big following, like core members as part of the Discord itself?
And Coop, I'm sorry, before you answer, get in the community stuff, Ludog, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on. I got to hop off. I got a baby to put to bed.
Oh yeah, no worries.
I'd rather stay on with you guys, if I'm honest, but dad duty calls. And can't wait to talk to you again soon.
All right, yeah, thanks for hopping on.
Totally.
Great guy. Great guy.
Yeah, so tell us a little about the community that you've been running over at the Discord?
Yeah, so it's really exciting. The outpouring from the membership, right? The people who joined from day one. I mean, day one, like Jim was talking about, had the conversation with Mike. The tweet kind of went viral. Discord opened up. Uh, we threw up a Google document, just a unlimited edit access Google document, and people just started pouring in and filling out ideas, right? Just from the like day one. Um, and that, in a lot of communities, you think about the internet in general, could have been just pure chaos and people making out poor taste jokes in the document and everything else. This was beautiful. I'm telling you, this document that came out of that initial workshopping session was incredible. And since that first opening of the Discord and kind of the ideation phase, where it became more than just a conversation between two people, but a community conversation of like what LinksDAO could really be. That those founding principles have, my job is to create the infrastructure for them and kind of guide that. So, right now we have, I believe, 9 pods or working groups. We call them pods in the Discord, that members can access. We recently passed a proposal where next week members are going to be able to opt in to view and kind of begin participating in those pods. But we've had people step up, like Jim was saying, our events pod lead Joe did an awesome job at South by Southwest. We have pods for marketing and partnerships and events and analytics and operations, and some of those folks are absolutely crushing it. They have their day jobs, they spend about 20 hours a week coming in and just doing really really special things for the DAO. And we recently passed a proposal to compensate those contributions according to like an official structure. So I think that's going to be like a turbocharger on what we've been able to accomplish so far. I mean, the pro shop was a really special thing as well. So, it's really about giving the infrastructure and setting up the tools for, these passionate community members to be able to accomplish big things.
Yeah, and I think community is pretty big as far as DAOs go, because you want people to get out there and vote for the proposals and be able to really feel like they have a say in what's happening in the project. And like you mentioned, if the community out there is saying we want the people that are spending the most time in here doing all this extra work to get compensated for it, then it's nice to see that as well. And you'd mentioned the pro shop. Let me bring that up real quick. Let's go over this a little bit. So is this member only? Is it just the members have discounts? Could you talk a little about the pro shop?
Yeah, absolutely. So the pro shop we launched, we again have some great partnerships that we've made through partnerships pod, and some big names in golf, have already partnered and are coming soon. I'm wearing the Holderness and Bourne, quarter zip here. Uh, this is a public pro shop. This is a public website. There are items available to anyone that wants to go on, but there are token gated functionality to allow members to receive special discounts on these items. So you might see that some of them are, they have members in all caps in front of them and the prices are lower. So, through our partnerships, we've been able to get some really cool, items at good discounts for the membership, but also, the incredible branding that Patrick and the team has worked on to create just cool golf merch, right? You don't have to be a member, but if you want a new golf polo or a new hat, like this is a great place to go, to get a really high quality brand at a good price.
Yeah, and you just can connect with the MetaMask wallet. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So you can connect with MetaMask. We recommend MetaMask on desktop, and it will check your wallet for NFT token. No need to try it if you know that you don't have a
Yeah.
LinksDAO NFT. But yeah, LinksDAO members, they connect their wallet. Really cool token gating with Shopify there to execute this. And yeah, it was an awesome launch where globals had early access, global NFT holders had early access, and then the leisure NFT holders got access as well. And yeah, we're stoked to have a women's section and a lot of different options for all of our members on the shop. Additionally, we're going to refresh the shop with new drops, new partnerships, new lines of merch and swag and golf equipment, pretty frequently. So definitely check back soon if anything's sold out or you want to grab something that you don't see there today. Pop in the Discord and request it. Right. That's one of the cool things that we have. It's like, oh, I really want to see this, but with the Links logo on it, we can make that happen.
Yeah, that's sort of the beauty of having these Discords is you can have a feedback channel and people just ask or suggestions in there. So are you able to buy with crypto or is it just USD?
It's a great question. We are USD only right now for the Pro Shop, but definitely looking into more ways to have crypto accepted payments and more Web3 integrations. The developer pod is working very hard on that development to add that more and more into our website.
Yeah. And then are there ways if the only way right now is through having the NFT, but is there ways that you are able to, I guess, in the future generations, I think you're calling it generations, right? Um, Future generations probably still be some sort of tiered access like this.
So you're saying for future NFT drops?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So right now we have the Genesis NFT, which is split into global and leisure. We don't have any specific plans yet for additional, dilution of that. Right. Those 9,090 are the baseline. Those will only be the total number ever of the Genesis NFTs. I can drop you a little bit of alpha that we are, this was in the roadmap originally, but we are in the progress in building out a PFP style because right now we have that spinning card for the NFT. We are looking at building out a PFP to go along with that. We want our members to be able to, represent their golf identity, their participation in LinksDAO, on social media, in the Discord, wherever they might go online, or even, a little bag tag as well to go on their golf bag with their PFP on it. So that is going to be coming out this year, and we're really excited about that. That would be, I guess you could say, like third in line. If let's say you didn't have a global, didn't have a leisure, but you did have a LinksDAO PFP, that would provide you a little bit of an edge over the public for access to LinksDAO, drops and exclusive partnerships and products, things like that.
And you'd mentioned that before we hopped on here that you plan on revamping the website a little bit. I know that in the chat here, Strictly Sports is saying he'd like a link to the OS. I'm gonna drop that in the chat here as well. But I want to go over a little of what's on the roadmap here. As far as you started in last December, and now we're in this early 2022 period. So as of now, it seems like the big thing is to try and find these partnerships, and as Jim mentioned, narrowing it down to which course is going to be bought. What's sort of that next step after that?
Right. So, one thing that I'm learning a lot about is golf courses and like how to buy them and what the process is like.
Yeah.
I've been a golfer since I was a little kid, but I've never really thought before this project too deeply about owning or managing one. Right. There's an interesting dichotomy with Web3 and the attention span that usually associates with you. Like people want to buy something and then just see it moon, right? And you don't want to be a lucky trader, right? You mint it and it goes up and everybody's happy. Buying and opening a golf course is a much longer time horizon than even the length of time I've been in Web3. So there's a couple different options, right? There's one which is to buy an existing course and just open it, right, or something like that, right? But that wouldn't necessarily be the type of experience that we want for our membership, right? We want to have a top 100 course experience, and the alternative is to buy land and build on the land. and then that time horizon is like
Way longer, right?
2 to 8 years, right?
Yeah.
You have to like move a bunch of earth and do all kinds of crazy stuff. And then there's a third option, which is to buy a course with good bones, right? Great whole layout and structure and everything, and then bring in a designer, an architect, redo the clubhouse, reformat some of the holes and some of the course design to make it really fun and engaging. And one of the things we're really interested in too is, how do we integrate technology into every aspect of, playing golf, right? From the moment you step on site, like how does being an NFT holder make the golf experience just that much cooler, that much more integrated with Web3? Like, having a tracker, a shot tracker like you see on TV, on
Yeah.
every tee box that mints your drive as an NFT if you think it's a good one, right? If you
Yeah.
shank it, you don't have to pay gas. But something like that, where it's really cool, technology integrations that we want to include. So the timeline for that is still on track, right? We definitely want to acquire a course and open it, early in 2023.
Yeah, it seems more, and just a lot of people in general, I think, in this space are like somewhat impatient as well and don't want to wait for a course to get built. But if you buy one that's already existing, then you have a little more confidence in it as well, just because you know that you can look up the history of the course and this, that. That's a cool idea that you mentioned. Like, I feel as though, say someone, people like to post pictures if they shoot, under 60 or something at a course. What if you minted that as an NFT? If you got the course record, it like comes out as an NFT that you could like resell at the course record
Oh yeah,
NFT.
like the scorecard, you could get like a
Yeah.
scorecard NFT every time you play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, yeah, digital version of that. And obviously there's, as you mentioned, like the restriction of gas fees and things like that. But as of now, you guys are just on Ethereum. Have you looked into using other blockchains at all?
There's definitely people on the team who have, a lot of experience with, all forms of cryptocurrency, all different kinds of blockchains. It's my opinion that the blue chips are on Ethereum and pretty much always will be. But there's a lot of opportunity, I think, with, layer two as well as Solana and other chains. I do some work personally with other chains as well. So I think, there's tons of potential there, right? And, we're going to do whatever we think provides the best experience, the most efficient, awesome applications for our membership. So we're open to, whatever's the best option, but right now it's definitely Ethereum.
Cool. Yeah, and Strictly Sports is saying that he likes the merch. He wants to order a hat already. So that's
Yes,
good. You might have gotten
awesome.
a fan already who's interested in it. Yeah, that's the cool part about doing some of these streams is we're able to get a little deeper than maybe just a Discord announcement would have or something like that. What other types of things that mentions governance on the site? What other types of proposals have you seen out there already or are planning to have, at least in the short term?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So we've had 7 governance proposals so far. I'm really excited about this community. 2 of them have been for charitable donations, right? One was to Steph Curry's Eat, Learn, Play organization, and another one was, I know you may have seen that tragic car crash from the U of SW golf team. A donation from our treasury to, the victims. But so this is a community that's really passionate about people and inclusivity and the game of golf and the broader golf community, which I'm really honored and excited to say that. Um, Other proposals that have been passed, have been interesting ones about how does a DAO work, right? One was about the pro shop deciding, picking out what kinds of merch we want to have, but the seventh one, setting up the infrastructure for compensation, as well as the first one where we decided what type of partnerships we want to move forward with, right? Having that insight from the DAO, from the organization, from the community, really guiding and helping with those decisions, has been a really exciting process, and I'm very excited with this new structure from Proposal 7, how we move forward with smaller niche projects, right? Like developing certain token gated applications. We have a really cool community. We're working on reciprocity, So that should be a proposal that we'll see pretty soon. We have a network of a lot of people in this golf community, especially in the United States and around the world, where we've already had members meet up and play golf with each other, right? So building out a application, a website, a software to, make that fun and allow people to connect a little bit more deeply with each other around the game of golf is one that I'm really excited that should be coming soon.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the cool part about golf. I feel like it's something I've gotten more into in the last few years. I think just in general, it's cooler to play golf than maybe people as they were growing up. I think just the way that um, they have broadcasts and betting around it has come out where it's less boring to watch. I'd say. I mean the waste management, those hole in ones, you're out there and they're just like chucking the beer cans out there, and people are saying, oh, there's people that complain about it, but then other people look at it and think, wow, golf is fun. Like I want to be out there and be a part of that and at that event. And I think just being able to go to these events are a really cool feature as well. As I mentioned earlier about the idea, I got to go to the Masters a few years ago,
Nice.
and it was it was for a practice round, but it was still cool to just like be there and like say that you've been there. So
Yeah.
it's the type of thing where you guys had mentioned partnerships earlier. Are you able to share any partnership information specifically or just in general?
Yeah, so I can't drop any
Any
unannounced
names?
or unreleased ones, but I can definitely talk to you about the existing scope of the partnerships that we currently have, right? One of the first ones that came out was with Five Iron Golf, which is a network of really cool bar and restaurant golf simulators, right? So
Oh yeah.
it's booths. There's one just up the street from me here in Philly that I've gone and met with LinksDAO members. It's a 20% discount on rentals, food and beverages, lessons. Pretty significant discount there. And 50% off your first league as a team. So, especially when it's cold this winter in Philly, like being able to go and play golf
Yeah.
inside, get some good food and drinks and hang out with, some friends was an awesome experience. Um, Again, we've got ship sticks discounts, Devereaux threads, minimal golf. We've got obviously the discounts in the pro shop, right? So like approximately 35% off. A lot of these really great golf brands are built in there. We've got a partnership with DraftKings, and you're talking about sports betting. We're having a Masters pool that's going to be coming out exclusively for LinksDAO members. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Um, we've got Supreme Golf discounts on booking tee times. Another 4A golf apparel. It's a really cool one. We've got Masters caddy uniforms.
Cool.
Caddyuniform.com.
The all
We've
white,
got they're
right?
all white,
Yeah.
but we've got a LinksDAO logo on it too, and you can get your name on the back. So we've got discounts there. You know, uh, Upcoming partnerships too with other Web3 organizations for NFTs and pre-sale access to some really cool projects. So there's a lot going on. We've been busy for 3 months,
Yeah.
and we're just getting started. There's, as Jim kind of alluded, there's some big names on the horizon that we're really excited to bring to the table.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where you can't really say it because I feel like once you say it, obviously depending on who it is, but um, kind of like once you say it, people are gonna start talking about it and moving, and you want to make it like a big announcement, not something just that you say it on here anyway. But yeah, it's always cool to see like the projects that are building, especially in sort of these. I don't want to say that we're in a downtime in the market or anything, but when it's quiet in the market, and teams are building and you're still doing stuff within the Discord and you can see that the teams are still working on stuff. Like that's always one thing that I like to see when looking at projects. Full disclosure, I don't have one of the memberships as of now.
Oh,
I might at some point because it is one that I've looked at for a while. But I just for one reason or another haven't gotten into it. But as far as you mentioned the PFP and just further generations, do you expect those to be after the course is purchased, or is that going to be part of additional raise for the purchase?
That's a really good question. Because I think the timeline we're looking to acquire, like Jim said, that asset, this summer, late summer, right? I think the time frame that we're looking at for the PFP launch is pretty similar. In the next probably 3 or 4 months, I'd expect both to happen. We haven't really had any discussions or plans on like which one should be first, or how that's going to happen. I think we're going to just do our best to make sure that both of those big decisions are done really, really well on both counts. I think that's whichever one takes longer, it'll be for a good reason.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting whenever the announcement of the location of the course comes out. People that live by it who might have been sitting and like waiting to hear are gonna all of a sudden be like, well, now that it's within an hour from me or within a couple hours, they're like way more likely to use the membership portion at the course. So like that's always something that I'll be watching and keeping in mind. But obviously, I'm sure you guys have done a lot of due diligence on that side. It seems like a lot of the members of the team have at least the golf background. So is there anything that we haven't touched on that you were really hoping to talk about today?
Just I want to reiterate how awesome of a community this is. Like the people that have stepped up, they're fantastic. They become some of my best friends. And if you're interested in golf, or if you're interested in Web3, we've had I'd say I think it was 25 to 30% of the people who minted our NFT, it was their first ever NFT mint. And on the other side, there's a bunch of people who are Web3, crypto traders that have never played around at golf, but they
Mhm.
love the idea, right? So it's a great mix, a great community. If you want to be educated about either, if you want to come in and learn about golf, you want to come in and learn about Web3, you want to come in and learn about how a DAO works, it's a fantastic place to do that. It's because of how great the people in this community are. So just want to say thank you to all of them for their hard
Mhm.
work and participation in this awesome project.
Yeah. And then this might be a little more of a technical question, but I know some of our listeners don't have as much background on the DAO side. But without buying an NFT, are you able to buy into DAO votes?
No, not at this time. The in the roadmap, in the idea, and in the plan, still is the idea of a links token. So that is something that we're looking at very closely and working on, determining the best way to execute that. The ideal would be to, create an awesome way for people to participate through that mechanism. And we're just trying to figure out the best way to do that before, hastily launching something like that. And, you know, we want it to be perfect before we go live with that. So not at
Yep.
this time, but the NFTs are the way to go with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of technical stuff with tokens and laws, SEC, stuff like that, especially if you're global. As I mean, you guys are clearly going to be global. So it's definitely something to be particular about and make sure that's done right. And soon enough, you'll probably get a lot of those people spamming the when token, this that. But yeah, and is there anything else on like DAOs that you think might be important for someone who hasn't been in a DAO before that maybe you're doing a little differently?
Sure. I would say the key is good communication, right? You've got to have, good channels, good, standards and procedures and stuff set up to make sure that people can get involved when they want to and stay involved and have access to information. I think that's really key. And in terms of LinksDAO, it's a unique project, right? If you're interested in getting involved in a DAO, the best suggestion is to join one, right? Just come in and raise your hand. And I know it can definitely be overwhelming, right? When there's already an established infrastructure, you want to come in. But, one thing we're working on is setting up one-on-one appointments. So people who might not feel comfortable jumping up in a Twitter Spaces or a Discord podium can, you know, have a conversation one-on-one with what they might want to do, right? And granting that access and transparency. But yeah, I mean, ask questions, right? It's Web3. One of the coolest things about this whole phase in the world is you're no more than one, click on
Yeah.
Twitter away from like somebody who's doing something really, really cool. So reach out, ask questions, raise your hand, and the opportunities are endless out here.
Yeah, and one of the things that early on, one of like the cool things of having a Bored Ape was being in a community where you could arguably have a conversation with Steph Curry, and LinksDAO allows you something very similar. And for just golf fans in general, if this starts becoming like the golf NFT for just NFTs in general, then you're going to see people who are big golf fans that want to be involved because maybe some of the top players are from the PGA Tour are in the Discord and chatting it up and having like AMAs and things like that. So it's definitely
Yeah.
cool. And as you mentioned, like the community aspect of DAOs is what separates the good ones from the less good ones. But cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
If you had told
yep,
me I like 4 months ago that I'd have talked to Steph Curry in DMs or MLB
yeah.
players or any of the other people in this community, I would have never believed you. But it's right. It's all possible right now with this.
Yeah, that's also the cool part of me doing these interviews is I'm learning a lot about all these different teams and just people in the space. And yeah, there's obviously going to be a lot of cool people just in the Discord who probably know a lot more about a DAO than you would. So then you go in and you ask them questions and you can just learn about that. And maybe you want help something with your golf game, and so it's just having and finding people with similar interests, like that side of it is really cool as well. So cool. Well, yeah, I'm glad that you hopped on with us today. Like I think we plan on being in communication with you guys for a little bit, since a lot of our team comes back from the sports and gambling world. So this was definitely one that was on our list that we wanted to make sure that we talk to you guys about. So yeah, thanks for hopping on, and obviously with Jim, thank him as well. Fortunately, he was only on for the first half, but I think we got a lot of good info out from him. So, is there anything else that you wanted to plug, whether it's like your Twitter, their Twitter, or anything else?
Oh, well, thanks so much for having me, Lou. Yeah, absolutely. You can follow me at Coop NFT, LinksDAO, LinksDAO on Twitter, Instagram, coming soon to TikTok. We're gonna have it's a great time. Join the Discord, discord.gg/LinksDAO, and look for me. I'm happy to talk to anybody. Twitter DMs, anything else. And again, really appreciate you, Lou, for having us on and for all you do for the space.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks. And for those listening, I'll be back tomorrow for another Lucky Trader Lounge. And thanks for hopping on. I'll make sure to add all those notes that Coop just mentioned into the show notes here and on the audio version as well. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.